Robert from Quick Games. If you're into miniatures and you use miniatures on your table, this is a video for you. Um, this is Hero Forge. If you haven't seen or heard about Hero Forge before, it's about customizing your own 3D miniature. It actually started as a Kickstarter. I have the page up right here. They did just a great job with the Kickstarter in general. I'll turn the sound off. Um, but the whole idea is you can never find that miniature that represents you, right? Who you want to be at the table. Um, every every person is unique. Every character you're coming up with is exceptionally unique. If there was just some way that you could put all those unique elements together and pick something as close as possible to what your own character is, well, guess what? If you haven't found them yet, this is Hero Forge. Um, Going from their Kickstarter, let's take a look at, they're growing strong. They've been doing this for a couple years now. But if I look at their material page, what can you expect? What the pricing on these? These are the plastic miniatures, kind of like your standard ones you would get for your table. You probably want to maybe at least prime, if not, fully paint these. I mean, you could use them as is, but they come in this kind of all white. These are about $20, right? 19.99 to put those together. They have one that's called premium plastic. I don't know exactly, not having these two materials in my hand to get to kind of the difference for it, but the idea is that these, if they're done with this is the stereolithography apparatus (SLA). You would get higher quality prints with the SLA. So I guess that's why they're differentiating between like your standard plastic and your premium plastic. Premium plastic with the SLA will give you the higher quality. Um, they don't specifically mention what the material is for it, but a lot of the SLA style printing will be kind of resin based. So I would guess that this is more of your kind of standard. Oh, actually, the plastic is also SLA here, right? So they're both custom done through SLA, and they're building it up. So the premium one, they're just saying it's a glossy black plastic, highest detail plastic option. So you get the higher quality plastic itself for the detail teachers. They also offer, however, and of course the premium plastic ones are $30. You can go up even higher if you want to go for five more dollars, you can do the steel. I imagine what they're doing with this one is they're printing it and then doing a cast of it in steel. So there's a way you can do um, prints with different resins that are actually meant for casting. So you'd print it out in a castable plastic, usually made something that would, you put it into another material, make a mold out of it, and then be able to remove the plastic itself. But there you go. You can have a steel version. They also offer a bronze. Um, $99 for the bronze one. So if you can opt for that for your table, it's a little spendy. But the really nice thing is, rather recently, they started doing digital downloads. So if you have your own, 3D printer at home, you could do the digital download, and for $10, that sounds a little more reasonable. You can get the file and then print it yourself. Um, Really great idea to kind of put it together. Um, so this is the configurator. We have our nameless hero. We could rename if we want, and then save it. But the whole idea is you can go through and you can pick your different options. So you have we can start from basic character creation, right? We can put together a character as a male or a female. We can pick if we want it to be an elf with the ears and a little bit lighter build. They have options for half elf, dwarves. You can kind of see the differences on each one of these. What they call it elemental, which is sort of like, I don't know, like a kind of a lighter build, maybe more like a fairy or that type of thing. Here is a gnome, um, bulkier, brawnier builds for half work, and you can kind of see on this model has the teeth kind of protruding out, and then they have a halfling. And then they actually have, these were ones they've added more recently. They have a half demon, which or a half dragon. So if you wanted to have a character as that, they have these kind of canine characters, feline, ratfolk. If you characters minotaur, turtle person. Okay, there you go. I've seen everything now. Raven folk. Quite a number of different types. You can start off with a build that is already decrepit. You can have your zombie or your skeletons. I haven't seen this one yet. This is a robot build. So if you're doing like a sci-fi RPG, that type of thing, let's actually go up and I'm going to build a standard. Let's go with the human. We'll just start off kind of a base build, right? And then you go through. So this is picking your races. They also have different genres that you can start off with. I'm going to have the all checked here, but if you really want to kind of drill down into a specific one, then it's going to pre-sort the options that you have to make it easier for you to pick, through your build. Let's leave all on for now. Then you go through, you can kind of detail your head, right? So this is like if I was going to go through an RPG game and they had like the character creation at the beginning, very very similar to it. Coolest thing though is you can actually print the 3D character at the end of it. A lot of different options and build types to kind of put all this together. A lot of these are it's fully interchangeable, so you can kind of see some different options. That's kind of cool right there. Let's just look at this robot one real quick. Oh, he's got a kind of Guardians of the Galaxy style mask going on, but we'll go with one that has maybe a little bit broader um, chin. And then you just go through. You can pick all the different expressions. We can have him smiling, kind of smirking a little bit, being angry. Um, a lot of different cool options for it. If he's going to be a fighter, I kind of like that one where he's got kind of this coy look about them, and you kind of adjust it a little bit even from there to make it a little bit more interesting. Or if he's opening up his mouth, right? And then all these different details you can kind of put together. So the first kind of prefab sets the kind of race uh, type overall, but you can go in and pick some different options themselves if you want to go in and kind of customize a little bit. So really, like the possibilities are endless, right? Like how many different combinations these are out there. There's very large ears if you want to do larger ears. Some of these are a little bit ridiculous, but if your character is unique in some way, you might want to capture it and put it together on your person. We're gonna pick just some kind of normal looking ears there, and then taking a look at some of these hair options, right? So you can go through. They have lots of different types to put together. That's kind of fun. It's a little bit shorter. Might Here you go. Just lots, lots of different really cool types, right? Maybe you have a fighter with a long, flowing hair. I kind of like the one that was the short crop. I stay with that one. And then your character has a beard. Very, very important if you are a dwarf. You have some longer beards, some really long beards. That's kind of fun where it matches the hair, right? Where it's got the little clumps of hair put together. And then let's check out these eyebrows, right? So you go a unibrow if you want, and then different eyes, crazy eyes, bug eyes. We'll just go with some standard ones. Different teeth options if you want to put them together. So I'm not sure how much detail when you do the print will show up with teeth options like this, but we'll do kind of the larger teeth. Wanted to give them some horns. That'd be kind of interesting. let's go with this. Okay, these are kind of crazy. You have eye stalks. If you really just have something like way out there, let's clear that one off. And then, so that is the head. Bring it back to the view for the body. You can pick different torsos. The different torso types kind of change up. This, when we went through the original build, picking the different types, these are kind of the mix across them. Um, this one makes them look a little bit more emaciated. I don't know if that's the option I'm going for my fighter, but maybe there are, yeah, something we can do here where we up his build, bulk him out a little bit. There you go. And this dial here is for booty. There you go. Change that up. I skipped over this one. These were the legs. Of course, you can kind of change the type of character that you are if you want to build that sort of half, half, half or something interesting. Again, this is going to be my fighter, so it should be kind of cool to do something like that, right? Because he's already got the kind of the fawn style look with the horns. What the hey? Let's keep it on that one. These are that's kind of nice too with the a little more detail on the feet. What the hey? We'll stay with the feet that kind of turn him to a little bit of half man, half animal. You can do wings if you want. I'm not sure how many characters I've played in any of the games that have needed wings, but they're there. So I'll go ahead and clear that one off, and then we'll go with there's different tails you can do as well. Kind of interesting. Kind of like the idea of having a little bushy tail. If we're going to go with this theme of kind of a half man, half something else, and yeah, we'll go with that one. And then, oh, this is if he had a backpack on, I guess. Oh, it turns him into a turtle person. Okay, great. Well, we don't need that. And then let's go to outfits. So they have a bunch of prefabs, stuff ready to go. And they're adding stuff all the time. There's the two kind of new ones they have lately. Kind of looking, we can just kind of click around on some of these, right? So sometimes, when you start putting the whole clothing together, you got to be careful on, long beards or other elements or things that are, going to cover up your face in different ways. It's actually kind of cool with the armor and the tail on the back. You really can't tell he has the horns. You see here on his face, there's just kind of two little nubs there. That's what I was saying. You have to be careful about the combination that you're picking kind of overall. That's kind of interesting. He's got really kind of covered up his legs quite a bit when you go that route. There's lots of different options here though for this is kind of like a dwarven armor. And one thing, happening behind the scenes here, there you go, with the tail in the back. It's matching the stature and the size of the person to the the apparel and the clothing, right? So there's actually a lot, going on overall. I'm not sure what world this would be, but some sort of Western fantasy, I guess. Going for a little bit more modern. It's actually kind of cool. Actually, he's in a suit. This would be, maybe a maybe post-apocalyptic, right? Or modern. And then let's see, just a lot of different types of clothing to go with. I think I do want to keep somewhat with this is an interesting one. This is called Electric Priest. Um, there you go. Basically all covered up, and he's still got his little horns coming out there. This also covers up his face. I think, if I was going to do one in particular to kind of keep instilled, that's actually kind of cool. We might be straying a little bit from standard fantasy going this way. This is kind of a sci-fi edge, um, but it's kind of nice where it's kind of lightweight on the clothes. I'm wondering if I should stay with this one or go back to more of a traditional armor. Let me try. Let me see what this one looks like real quick. If not, it's got a wolf head and these other elements to it. I think a lot of these helmets kind of cover up a bunch of what I was going for. Um, let's go with. This is kind of cool with the helmet. You can no longer see his horns per se. We might be able to go in and actually change that. Let's see. So if we go into, yep, here we go. So similar to the initial body types and the races that you're picking, where it kind of prefabs the whole setup together, you can go in and kind of swap in different elements. So if I want to take his helmet off completely, I can just clear that out. So he's in his armor, and he's got, still has his tail kind of come out. You'd have to put some sort of hole back there, I guess, to get your tail to stick out like that. And then he's got his legs. You can go through and now just kind of mix and match on the clothing types, right? So it's such a nice, like, streamlined way of putting all those elements together. And then, of course, intermixed in here, at the very beginning, I select all genres. So you're getting the sci-fi ones mixed in with the Western ones and whatnot. So, if you wanted to kind of stick with a certain, genre, be it a Western or that type of thing, well, then you can do it that way. But it's kind of fun to kind of see some of these combinations playing off each other. Um, just makes for it to be more interesting, right? So here he is, maybe as a king. It's kind of cool. I think I do like that one. But if you go with any of these other helmet types, it really starts kind of covering it up. So if he has a crown, this is a headwear. Yeah, that's what I thought I was going to do. This would be maybe for a zombie style character. But yeah, let's go with the crown because he still has his horns in the front there. Makes maybe for a little bit more interesting of a story. And then you can go in and if you didn't like these large armored epaulets on the sides or the shoulder gear, you can go in, maybe tone it down a little bit, or take them off altogether. So what it looks like if I were to clear his shoulders. Actually, you know what? That that seems right. It's very stately and kingly without the armored shoulders. I do want to kind of see what some of these look like, though. This would be like this. Looks like maybe the samurai off the samurai outfit. One of these two, right? The lions look kind of cool on the sides. The fact that he's a king, putting that together. If there was something a little bit more subtle, I might go with it. But the fact that these are kind of that's very robot. I might actually just go with just clearing it off just for this build, just kind of see what that looks like. So let's clear it, and then working down his chest. Right now, not too interesting. If there's something that we could do that would make it for not those, um, something a little more kingly, right? That this might be a little bit closer to. He's got the piece around the top. Let's see if we. These are more kind of normal clothing styles. These don't seem quite kingly enough, right? We want something interesting, something that a little more regal, right? This is looks like kind of like sci-fi body armor, but it does kind of fit the lines below. Let's see what else we got. I just want to see what this one looks like. This is makeshift, bandoliers going across. Let's see, is there something a little bit more kingly? This is mixing modern and fantasy together. Looks kind of cool with the headpiece. It's kind of a kingly armor. Maybe we'll stay with that one. Um, he's a king, so he has he's wearing his armor. He's got that on his gloves. We could probably make his gloves a little more interesting. Let's see what we got. These are longer gloves. I think I do want to keep something that looks a bit more armored, but maybe fits the design we have here, where it has these are more yeah, the gauntlets. But let's see, what does that look like? Something like this might be about right, considering I have his rest of his armor that way. I think I'll probably stay with that one, but let's just scroll down here. What else do we have? Lots of different types. Oh my goodness, there's almost like too many options. Um, Moving along, I actually do like the way he's built right now with the ridges and the lines coming together. I'm a little hesitant to change it just because. Oh, okay, here it is. If we wanted to find it again, we could find it. This is the Paladin's plate leggings. Um, so let's just see what some of these other ones look like. Putting them together. Interesting. I do like the plate one. You can definitely mix and match a lot of different types up. We're going to go back to the plate, and then looking at the feet, shoes are not compatible with. There you go. That's how it knows that you've picked a combination that it needs to make sure doesn't mess up your legs. As for gear, let's take a look. So we can put things in hands. So they have a lot of different types here. So something for, these are different types of swords. You can have guns, and then this is your left hand and your right hand. So what would a king be holding? We could have a sword, and there's lots of different sword types. Um, this one is the bastard sword. That would be in his left hand. You could have him have a sword in each hand if you wanted, different weapons all around. If you wanted a shield and sword combo, they have that. And this is a dwarven shield. If he was a king, he'd probably have something pretty stately, if he's even, carrying his own shield. And there's lots of different types. These are a little more ornate. Here's one that's more kind of barbaric, right? This is a crystalline shield, sure. Um, Putting different types together. Something like this could be kind of interesting. It's very ornate. Looks pretty cool. I think we'll stick with that. You can have different packs on his side. What would a king be carrying around? He'd probably have. Oh, and if he's going to war, he might have an extra. Well, this is a sword and scabbard. We could just have. There's different scabbard types. A scabbard would make sense. We probably want a scabbard and maybe a pack. Let's see what they offer here. Go with the fanny pack. Um, let's see. So do they have? Here's your scabbard, right? So if you can pull his shield, reach across, and then he'd have it there. And maybe on the other side, we could do. Maybe this is where a pack would go. That one's a cassette player. Gun holster. We won't mix genres on this one, but let's try. There's a carrying case and a mechanic's pouch. Actually, might look kind of cool. A little bit more modern than what I would like. But maybe we could pick. what I'll do? I think what I'll do is I could do a pouch, but would a king be carrying his own pouch? Let's clear that, and I'm going to leave the scabbard on the side, and maybe that's all he'll have for that. On his back, if he was the king, he might have some sort of robe that would hide his tail. You won't be able to see that on the back. There are other some options that we could do. The king would probably not be carrying his own pack on his back, maybe a jetpack. Um, another sword. I'm thinking it might be a good idea to leave the back clear, just because he does have the tail going on. On your face, you can of course wear different masks. This is the Plague Doctor skull mask. I think we'll skip those. Don't really need any VR goggles. Extra accoutrements for the face, and then I don't want to cover his mouth. So I think they were actually pretty good shape. Looking here at the different bases, like this is a kind of a standard round base, but they do have some different texture types if you wanted to get it printed with the ground, or you can kind of theme it, that type of thing. These are kind of cool. So if you were to have these made and you had like a DM screen, these are little clips that you can get the miniature printed with, and then you can slide these on top of your screen. So rather than using it as a miniature on the table, it would be maybe a turn order or a counter or that type of thing. The slotted one would be if you're putting it into your own base. I think I'm going to stick with a standard circle. If you wanted to, you can adorn the base itself with little different um, items. Um, maybe he's in war, there's a bunch of arrows on the ground, there's different kind of themed items depending on what you want to put together. Most of my miniatures are clean, so I'm going to leave this nice and clear. You can also put a label on the bottom, which is kind of a cool thing to do. You can add your own text here, or put a little kind of symbol, that type of thing. Um, Curious to kind of see how well a lot of these will kind of print in the build. Like if you use text, how well that'll print, how we'll be able to see it. Be kind of interesting to see how to put that together. But I think that if you're gonna spend the trouble of putting a custom character together and you have it all tuned exactly how your character is, you might as well put the name of it on the bottom. And then looking here, you can do different mounts. So you can put this together where he's riding in. It doesn't change the price at all when you put it together, even though this is a bit of a larger figure, that type of thing. Um, and just kind of looking at different options for this. If you wanted to, you could have it without the person altogether. You can have your mount and your figure, and then you get one with both together, and have the whole combination where you can mount and dismount. For the sake of this build, we're gonna clear the mount altogether, and then this option here are different poses. We started off with kind of the standard pose where he's standing there with his two hands out, but there's a lot of different poses here where it looks like maybe in combat this one he's walking forward. This one kind of ridiculous with the feet as is, but hey, there you go. I do kind of like this one where he's in mid pose, maybe blocking something. This is kind of more of a standard fight. Let's see, is there one where I'm trying to look for one where he's a little bit more stately as a king? Might be not like that. This would be flying, I guess. His feet barely touch the ground. I wonder how well that would print with just the toes there touching. I wonder if that actually would print that well. Let's pick. Uh, let's see. Let's do. That one does look pretty kingly. do want one, not like full fight. I think that one's actually pretty good, where he's holding out his hand. And then finally, you pick your material. So you can do that standard plastic, and give you some examples of how that'll turn out. The premium plastic. So let's see, the difference here. Um, Printed with a gray primer and have some layer lines. So really the difference that you're choosing between these two is the quality of the resin, like the detail that it'll be. So the premium looks like for going from like that $20 to $30, that $10 difference is going to give you maybe a better print overall in the premium plastic. Again, the bronze was the $99 one, and the steel one would be casted. So kind of pending where you think a good line would be. If you have your own printer, um, the digital download is not a bad option to go for. Personally, I think if I didn't have the 3D option, looks like on the steel cast, the metal would have to mold it into the material. You might see a little bit of the granularity of it. So I'd probably pick somewhere between like the plastic, premium plastic. If I definitely had my own printing mechanism, I'd go for a digital download and print off the one I need for that. But let's go ahead and choose premium plastic, and then you have this here add to your cart, and that's it. I mean, there is my king. Um, Dialed everything in for the different types. Um, got my screenshot together. They're ready to go. Again, this is Hero Forge. Um, really kind of fun, fantastic idea for how to put a miniature together, customize it yourself. Everyone loves to customize their miniatures. If you like this type of video, you want to see kind of more fun, do-it-yourself RPG, tabletop, you're into that type of thing, visit us at crickgames.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube. You can search for Crick Games or just go to youtube.crickgames.com. If you have made your own Hero Forge figure, um, let me know in the comments how well it turned out. What material did you use? Did the material types make a difference on the build? Did you pick like a plastic or a premium plastic? What was the quality on it? That type of thing. Um, just let me know in the comments. You can also follow us at Crick Games LLC, and as always, game on.